I'm Shay Russell from mining.com.au, and joining me today is Ivan Fairhall, the Managing Director for Pivotal Metals. Ivan, it's great to see you again, mate. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me on, Shay.
Now, there is an awful lot to digest in today's announcement. What's the 30-second summary?
Really excited to have some news out today. These being able to update investors on some excellent metallurgical test work results from Borden Lake. So the real key takeaways that people should be taking from this announcement is that we've demonstrated very high copper recoveries from our Borden Lake project, up to 90%. We're making attractive high-grade copper concentrates, 25 to 30% with no nasties in it. And these concentrates are loaded up with precious metals byproducts, which make them much more valuable and attractive. And we're able to do all of this with a standard flow sheet. So this, really positive stuff.
Oh, you mentioned a lot of interesting topics there in that one. Let's delve into those a little bit more. What does the high copper recoveries actually mean for Borden Lake?
Well, look, it's great to have all of this metal in a resource, but you've got to be able to sell it. And to sell it, you've got to be able to extract it. So recovery is all about how much of that metal you can extract. And we've been able to develop here a standard low-cost flotation flow sheet, and we can produce copper and nickel concentrates sold through the general concentrate global market. So we're most advanced with our test work here on the copper side of things. And that's the focus of this announcement, really. We're getting these very high grades, consistently 85 to 90%. So that's really good value capture for a deposit like this. And it happens to be copper is obviously the most abundant metal out in our deposit. Now, it's not always true. Well, actually, it's often quite easy to get lots of recovery of copper. But what can be difficult, and what the real success of this program that we're able to show here, is that we're able to recover that copper to a really high concentrate. So north of 25% is considered a high-grade copper concentrate that's widely marketable. And we've got a copper concentrate here that fits that specification. And importantly, there's no nasty, what they call deleterious elements in there. So they often result in penalties. We don't have any of those here. Now, the other thing that we do have is byproducts. Now, we've talked a lot about byproducts on this project before. We're talking about finding them in the resource. We sort of knew they were there, but we didn't have all the information. So we've got a lot of that information now, and that'll be flowing through the resource update. But what this is about is where do those byproducts go when you run them through the plant? So what we've shown here is a lot of the precious metals, so gold, silver, palladium, they're reporting to the copper concentrate. So that we typically get very high payabilities for those metals. So they just beef up the value of the concentrate. And it's not the last that we see of those metals. So the remainder of those metals, plus the cobalt and the platinum, they flow through to the nickel circuit. So we get a second chance at extracting those. But yeah, we've got very valuable and very marketable high-grade concentrates at high recoveries on Borden Lake. So yeah, I'm pretty pumped. It's pretty.
Mate, it sounds like there's been an awful lot of work done to date. Where does that take us from here?
So there's a bit more work to do on the flow sheet here. So we've got the copper circuit sort of humming. There's a few more tweaks and optimizations we'll do, but our attention's moved to the nickel side of it. So you process for the copper first, and then you take what's left and you extract the nickel from that. So we've made saleable concentrates from the nickel, but the work we have done has really helped us understand what's driving the recoveries of the nickel. So the whole series of tests across some variability samples planned to optimize that part of the flow sheet and our understanding of the ore body, and we're doing that work over the Christmas period. And then once we've set those process conditions, we'll complete block cycle tests, which in layman's terms just essentially is a test that simulates continuous process conditions, and they kind of give you some real economic parameters you can use for the project. So really strong results on top of a really strong exciting exploration story that we've normally been talking about. And it's a fun time to be sharing with investors and a whole heap of other groups that have been keenly waiting this information. We're really excited to be able to share that with them now.
Listen, Ivan, it's great to be watching the success for Pivotal Metals with their Borden Lake project unfold, and I love that I've been able to tell this story. Congratulations on today's announcement, and I look forward to what comes next. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Shane.